It's the end of the month, and there's some good things happening. I mean, Mitch McConnell's stepping down. Ronna McDaniel is stepping down. So there's two people that are establishment Republicans now kind of getting pushed to the side. The question then comes down to who is replacing them. Now, I'm going to give you my thoughts of who it should be. But again, I'm a very conservative, traditional guy. So therefore, my thoughts will probably not be what the Republicans go with. But this pendulum swing, is it for the best? Is it for the worst? Let's talk about McCarthy. McCarthy got out. To be honest with you, Johnson's not much better, but he is better. Are we happy with settling for better, or do we shoot for the best? Let's talk about it today. This video starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here. I jinxed us because yesterday I was outside in a t-shirt. All of a sudden it rains, it gets cold, and now I'm filming in a truck again. So I'm very sorry. I messed it up yesterday. Guys, again, thank you so much for watching. If you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up. That thumbs up means the world to me, and I humbly ask you, if you like this content, give us a thumbs up. Tell us in the comments below your choices and your thoughts about this video. But also remember, we're doing a giveaway tomorrow. This is the last day to sign up for the giveaway. All it takes is you subscribing to this channel, the Max Live channel, which is our vlog channel, and commenting saying, hey, I am subscribed, and enter me into the giveaway. You will be entered into the giveaway for tomorrow. We've got something amazing to give away. I can't wait to show it to you, but it will be on tomorrow's video. But today is the last day to sign up for that. Now let's talk about the leadership of the Republicans. So not a lot of times in history have we seen a guy lose and then come back, and even in all the turmoil, be the leader of the party, which is Trump. We know that. So there are some unique things happening this year. I love the fact that Vivek and some of the younger individuals in the party basically helped push out McDaniel. We realized McDaniel really was a terrible leader of the RNC. I will be honest with you. I honestly believe there has never been a good RNC leader for the last years. People like Reince Priebus, Michael Steele, Ronna McDaniel, all of them have been establishment Republicans who actually have not helped, I think, the movement of conservatism. And that's the thing that scares me the most about some of the names that are being thrown up for this position. It makes me want to throw up, to be honest with you. But I'm going to give you a few names that I think. Now, let's talk about McConnell a little bit too. McConnell, he should have got out 20 years ago. The man is like 184, and he needs to move on. Just like most leadership in Washington, most of them needed to be term limited to where they're not in leadership. But on top of that, most of them have become multi-millionaires all because of their leadership position. What it proved to me was they were there for themselves and not actually for the sake of the conservative movement or the conservative party. Now, that being said, he's getting out. I'm going to tell you who I think that they're going to probably elect, which is going to be a letdown for me. But at the same time, it's kind of like the Mike Johnson situation. Mike Johnson wasn't my overall choice. He's a lot better than McCarthy. So I'm anxious to see who they choose. I'm going to give you who I think they should choose. And really, they should be talking to Trump on this. They should be talking to the future of the party, the Viveks, DeSantis. They should be talking to those three guys, because that is the leadership of the Republican Party. No matter what you say, no matter if you like or hate one of them, Trump is the leader, and then the future is Vivek and DeSantis. So I believe they should have a say. I'm going to be honest with you, and this might not be a popular opinion. I don't know if Laura Trump is the right choice there for the RNC leadership. I really don't. I don't think Scott Presler is either. Scott Presler and Laura Trump does not fit, to me, the conservative narrative of the RNC. I think Laura Trump would be a great move because, of course, Trump is the leader. However, we have to think not only for Trump, we have to think past just the president. We need to think about who can fundraise, who can build the conservative mantra for the party as a whole. Laura Trump would be a great second or third man, and actually I think would be a phenomenal liaison between Trump and the RNC. So I think she needs a place there. But I do believe that we could look for better leadership. Presler, I'm not a Presler fan. First of all, he needs to cut his hair. Secondly, I think that he is not a conservative traditionalist. I think that he represents maybe the new age style conservatism, which is not conservative at all. People like him and really, to me, a lot of the people like Scott Presler, they're grassroots movement that came from the centrist or the libertarian that are now conservatives. Not because they're actually conservatives. I think they're the kind where, the left is so left that it makes centrist look more conservative. Do you get what I'm saying? So I don't think Scott Presler is the answer. I think there's a lot of conservatives pushing for him, but I believe the people that are pushing for him are not conservative enough for people like me. As a Christian conservative, Scott Presler's not the one. Who I think should be the RNC chair, someone who fundraises well, but also has a conservative mind. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't agree with everything this guy has done, but I do believe he has a movement of young conservatism. I believe he's a Christian, and I do believe that he could bring the party together, and he has a good relationship with Trump, has a decent relationship with Vivek and DeSantis. But I think Charlie Kirk would be a phenomenal leader of the conservative RNC. I think that he is more conservative than any establishment that we've had. I think that he is already in the colleges. He's already in the fundraising wing of the party. So I think Charlie Kirk would be good. Now, there's some things I don't like about Charlie Kirk. I think that he still kind of kowtows to some of the establishment a little bit more than I would wish. However, if you're talking the whole RNC, I think he is a total package that's going to benefit not only the most conservatives and traditionalists like myself, but he can also still fundraise and still help out some of the base and the establishment. So I think Charlie Kirk would be a phenomenal fit for RNC chair. I don't know if he'd do it because, again, he's got a good thing going with Turning Point and also with his own personal stuff, but I think he would be a phenomenal RNC leader. Lauren Trump's fine. I have no problem with Lauren Trump. I have no problem with Harmeet Dillon. I think both of those are great, but I don't think that they're the future in the conservative movement. I think Charlie Kirk would be better. I'm not a Scott Presler fan. I'm going to keep saying that. If you look at people like him, I think you're just basically taking the party more centrist than you are conservative. Now, on to the Senate Majority Leader. We talk about McConnell getting out, and everybody's happy about that. Now, the one thing McConnell did do, and I have to give him a little kudos, is he held Merrick Garland during the whole Obama situation. That was a big deal. I'm surprised that he did not kowtow to that. We see how bad AG Garland is. So if he was a Supreme Court justice, that would have been really bad. So I do think that McConnell did one good thing, especially over the last few years. Now, that being said, he should have got out way after that. If he would have got out right after that, I think that would have made him look like a superstar to the conservatives. But I digress. He's been there. He needs to get out. He's made his family probably extremely rich, but he is just completely establishment sellout, just like most of the Democrats and establishment conservatives. I hate to call him a conservative. I would just say he's a Republican, a rhino for sure. Now, I'm glad to see him go. He needs to. He's too old. It's like Biden. He's like Schumer. All of them. It's the old guard, and they need to go. The two next in command would be John Thune and Cornyn from Texas. Both of them are just as establishment. Both of them are not that much younger. So when he says, I'm going to pass the guard, if you pass to one of them, you've got nothing better. You really don't. It's kind of like saying one establishment guy for another establishment guy. I don't think they're the face of the Republican Party. Again, kind of talking about Charlie Kirk and talking about, Vivek and DeSantis and Trump kind of being the new faces of the Republican Party, not being full establishment. I honestly believe if it was up to me, I would be looking at someone like Rand Paul. Rand Paul is a conservative. He is a libertarian. He comes from phenomenal lineage when it comes to Ron Paul. I think he has a good head on his shoulders, and I think he pushed against people like Fauci, and I think that was, I think he's brilliant. I really do. It's crazy that Kentucky has people like McConnell, and then people have and then Paul, and then they have people like Massey, and then they have people like Bashir. It's kind of weird. But I do believe that Rand Paul would be phenomenal. He would be my choice because I don't like hardly any of the senators. I think most of them are sold out, but I think Rand Paul would be the very best. Now, does he have a shot? No. As much as I want him to be there as a conservative, as someone who probably leans a little bit more freedom-oriented and libertarian-wise, I think that he would be phenomenal. But he's a Southern Republican libertarian that I don't think has a shot. If me speaking honestly, I would love to see someone like a Mike Lee or Ted Cruz. Both of them are very establishment. Both of them are not the one that again, on the conservative side, they would both be more centrist than I am. Again, pulling for Rand Paul, but if Rand Paul can't be that, I think someone like Ted Cruz, again, which is kind of the counterpart to Cornyn, and then someone like Mike Lee, who has a phenomenal head on his shoulders, a little bit more centrist from Utah. I think both of them will be a whole lot better than McConnell. So I guess for me, I would someone like a Mike Lee or like a Rick Scott from Florida, a Rubio from Florida. All those guys are definitely more centrist than what I would think, but I believe they would have a better shot than someone like a Rand Paul, which is whom I would support. So give me your thoughts. What are you thinking there? Do you believe that McConnell is a good choice to get out? I mean, he needs to retire. He's stepping down from leadership, but Kentucky, you need to find some more conservative people. I believe you need to get Thomas Massie in that position. I believe he does not need to be just a congressman from Kentucky. He needs to be the junior senator for Kentucky. So if I was from Kentucky, I would be saying Thomas Massie from the rooftops. But I do believe that if we look at someone like Rand Paul, that'd be phenomenal for conservatism. He'd be like the Jim Jordan of the House. We didn't get Jim Jordan. We got Mike Johnson, which was better. So I think kind of like Mike Lee or Ted Cruz or Rick Scott, I think they are definitely more establishment than Rand Paul. However, they would be a whole lot better choice than McConnell. So if you're asking me, Charlie Kirk, Rand Paul would be those choices. I'm a conservative, fully embracing conservative traditional views. So therefore, I'm going to definitely be more right and more conservative in those choices and more fiscally conservative than what some others would be. But if I had to settle, I'd settle for someone like a Rick Scott or Mike Lee, Harmeet Dillon maybe for RNC chair or Laura Trump. I do not like Pressler. I think he is a leftist in disguise. So I don't think he would be a good move for RNC. I don't think he would represent especially the Southern Republicans or Southern conservatives for sure. And I don't believe he would help us at really any more than what Reince Priebus, Michael Steele, or Ronna McDaniel would. So that's just my thoughts. I think Vivek would be a great pull for RNC, but I think kind of like the press secretary for Trump, I think Vivek has got too good of a head on his shoulders to probably be the RNC chair or to be a press secretary. But I think that Vivek would fill that position as well. But if you're asking my opinion, Charlie Kirk would be a great choice. I'm not as conservative as I would want, but definitely able to talk to both sides of the party, the conservative and the establishment wing, and probably could be a phenomenal fundraiser, especially when it comes to younger individuals, getting that millennial and Gen Z involved in Republican side. I think Vivek and Charlie Kirk would work great on that aspect. And using people like Laura Trump, using people like Pressler, but not them being the true leaders of the party when it comes to the RNC chair. So I know this was a little bit more of a deep dive on the video about the Republican leadership, but if we're talking about pendulum swinging, we've got rid of people like, Paul Ryan. We've got rid of people like Mitt Romney. We got rid of people like Liz Cheney. We got rid of people like McCarthy, now McDaniel and McConnell. That's phenomenal. But we need to make sure we're swinging it far enough to where it makes a difference. We don't need to just hire the same old, and we put a different name on them, put a different sticker on them, and they're still the same old. So I hope that we when we swing this pendulum and we're getting rid of some of these establishment guys, and I think if we don't swing it far enough and we're not getting conservatism, we're going to look at just the same thing that happened. I think of when Trump first got elected. We had leadership in the conservative movement, quote unquote. Republicans had the House and had the Senate, but nothing got done. A few tax cuts, yes, Supreme Court leadership for sure. But when it comes to the border, we didn't do anything. When it comes to Obamacare reform, we didn't do anything. So if we don't swing it far enough, we're not going to get anywhere, and then we're going to give the Democrats back the hand over the coming years anyway. We need to make sure that if we're going to do this and we're going to make changes and Trump's going to actually do something if he wins, you've got to have better leadership for the RNC that's not establishment, and you've got to have better leadership when it comes to the Senate, and it's got to be someone who is not only a Trump supporter, DeSantis supporter, or a Vivek supporter, someone who is not so much establishment, but also someone who can coalesce a good group around them and be strong. Rand Paul hopefully But if all else fails, someone like a Rick Scott or Ted Cruz or Mike Lee would be probably next on that list. I mean, I'd almost hold my nose picking those three because they're not as conservative as I like, but definitely a whole lot better than McConnell. Give me your thoughts. Who would you choose? And not only that, who is some other good names? I mean, who am I missing? Who are the names that you don't want to see there that's been thrown out there? You know, they've thrown names out there and you're like, oh man, that guy would be terrible. Do not choose that guy. Remember, when you comment below and we talk amongst ourselves in this community, it helps us build wisdom and common sense. So there's some names I may have thrown out there. You're like, oh, I've never even heard of that person. Let me look them up. The more that we can research and gain that wisdom together, it helps us say, well, you know what? That would be a great choice. No, that would be a bad choice. Oh, you opened my eyes to this person or closed my eyes to this person. I think that's good decisions to make, and it helps us say, you know what? As the conservative side of the party, as Republicans, we can work together and build a better coalition to make America a whole lot better than it is, a whole lot freer than it is, and try to get more of a sound fiscal policy back and try to turn this country around. We need revitalization, we need repentance, and we need a reset in the right way. I hope that we can get some of those things, and when this pendulum swings, I hope it becomes more conservative, and I hope we can make some changes and really bring back revival and resilience back to America. Let me know your thoughts. God bless. Happy homestead, y'all.